Anywho, that was Angel on the phone that interrupted us. Hopefully y'all get the first part. Oh, wow. Have to turn up the music. Kira and I got here today and it was so nasty outside and had been so raining. I guess as a parent, and been a parent for so long, you just want to make sure your children are all right, you know? Because I cried knowing they're hurt. And as I was on the bus, that's the second, we was on the train at first and we had to get off the train. And we wasn't on the Greyhound. This was a different type of bus. And the people put us in a limousine service. They gave us free limousine service. And it's just a big bus with TVs, right? Anywho, as we were riding, I got to thinking, you know, after being a mother, my oldest one is 25 years, and my second oldest is 23, 22. Then you have Kiana, 16, Kiara, 14, Jeremiah, 12, and Angel, 11. And you take a test, you know. It's an effective mother test. It's not about how many of them. It's about the truth. And the Lord told me on the bus, he said, the truth will come. Children would always try you, but the truth will come. Yeah. And so it's almost like a blessing. You just don't want people to force them, and that is the difference. And I have children. The Lord has a way of doing things also, because I'm sitting here saying, Lord, I just want them to be okay. You know, I preached before, we get this fairy tale mentality to where we want a perfect family. But as we truly begin to live, I mean, come on, I would love to have children that gives back to me. I would truly, and it's not over. It's not over. I would love to have children like some of the ones you may see in some of these fathers' homes. You wonder what keeps a family together. Because I just don't believe the foundation is there anymore. But as a single mother and no child support coming in, and children, you know, growing up, and you see 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 6, they want to go into daddy. After so many years of doing it on your own, it seemed like my first 3 ran to daddies when time got hard, right? Shoot, and I'm saying in my spirit, I'm tired too. So Kiara told the police officer he was trying to convince Kiara to stay, right? Angel had been hanging out with Tifa, because I know some of you already said what happened. Some of you that already got the video. Well, tell us what happened, because y'all ready to go fight. What happened? Yeah, it's bad anytime you go to San Antonio. And my mom said, and she called today, I spoke with her today, well, why don't you come and live? Why would I want to live in San Antonio? But this is just the way my family is, I believe, because I believe the same thing happened to my mother when I was younger, is that her sisters did her the same way, and that she was forced. And from my understanding, she didn't want both of them. She just wanted me, because I was like that little baby that got along with all her little friends and her little male friends. Yeah, so I was told, just like your mom, and my aunt actually helped to raise me. She was my godmother, and so she struggled with my mother, so I wouldn't go back, and I ended up with my grandma. Yeah, and so now in my home, I have a daughter who's cocky as heck, my 25 years old. She wants to battle, but in my mind, I had told them, even when I first came from ATL, I said, shoot, I really wish I could take a cruise by myself. I wish I could be alone, you know, because I was tired. And I know how it is to try to get settled, and the pitter-pat of children not being able to stay with friends they want to be with and grow up and have something in common, you know. I thought about my 22 years old. She graduated from high school, and at graduation time, it really shows the friends, right? And we had just got into a new area. He hadn't been there no more than probably a year. And then those who had been there the entire 4 years, and when they called their name, they scream them out. And I remember what ran to my heart when they called my daughter's name. She had some folks, but she didn't have all the folks. Yeah, she had most of the cheerleaders because she was head cheerleader. But children live for that, having friends, permanent friends, people to grow up with, people to say that, you know. But then sometimes you can't do it, you know. I think about, and as I was riding, I thought about Justin Justin Bieber. I don't know why Justin, I guess because Kiara was laying on side of me, but I thought about Chris Brown and those who are young celebrities and how they can't stay in school. They don't go to school. They have tutors. Yeah, and I can preach that one right now, too. Famous celebrity folks, and then you're dealing with folks now, that's like I told my mom today, children will never be confused if they, how can I say it? Because it's not that I don't know how to say it, it's my sentences are not coming together. But when you have someone pulling at you, if you don't have anything to disagree with, then everything appears to be right, especially when they're that young. And so I told my mom, I said, when all the negativity stay out of their ears, because I tell you, America, my family loves me from a distance, and I can actually say that. I say, hey, I don't have nothing to lose. I stepped out trying to comfort my daughter. I had a terrible police officer, first of all, and Angel was already acting up, sitting back with my daughter. My oldest daughter, 25 years old, and we were visitors, and I guess we hadn't seen him in a while, and I don't know, some stuff was going on in the back, and I kept disciplining Angel on it, telling her to go outside, don't sit among adults. And Jeremiah and Kiera was already outside. And so Angel, by the time it got time to go, I don't know what was said back there. Because there's a lot of stuff going on in my family, I tell you. And I'm talking about it in Grandma's family. And there's a lot of stuff, a lot of people. I don't hate my family, but it's right now my spirit is different. And if I can't go into what I want. Sometimes you wish you were totally away from family and you've never been around them for a long time. That way I can really speak my heart about family, because you got family members that'll hate you like hell just because they think you're successful or because you've been married and they haven't. You have babies, they don't. You have a body, they don't. You get some money, they don't. You get publicity, they don't. That's called jealousy within the family. And so many rumors have been flying around. I tell you, sometimes you just want to talk and you can't, I can't even go into details. And I want to push some buttons. I want to be able to say right here what happened in my family, because I know so many people know that. You may think I'm a black sheep, but it all started from my ex-husband, and I really believe that. Some folks said it started because I was grandma's girl. But I think a lot of folks took to it because I was grandma's girl, but it was all having to do with my ex-husband. And I believe that, I found out that it is rumored that one of my aunties had an affair for years with my first husband. And through that, she collaborated with others. Because of her passion and love for him, they actually been together for years, and everyone thinking the phone calls had been about me. But it was because they had been together since I was 18 or 19. From my understanding, long story short, because you want to just go into details, and I just learned these facts out when I found out about this affair, which was this year. And my girls were very close to my aunt. They had an affair with their dad. And so it's just crazy. But I'm a very nonchalant person. They asked me if I cared. I got one daughter who's angry because I don't care. And she always tells me, you're too sweet. You don't discipline us enough. And I said, don't blame your ignorance on me being sweet. That's a trick of the enemy. You want me to go around. And I can't even explain what you call that type of mentality. Or you have to be beaten, abused. You have to be cussed out and talked down to in order to feel love. Yeah, I can't really go into, like I said, the way I wanted to go into, but push come to shove, it was a family argument, and Angel felt like at the time she was angry, and Kiana was here, their sister, 16-year-old, who was done exactly the same way, pushed out and brainwashed, Angel being the youngest. And so Angel was the only one who's supposed to say, because I'm like I said, you get tired as a parent, and you want to step away sometimes. You want to move away. And so going out the door, I had Angel, I had Kiara and Jeremiah, and then the police officer came out. He was such a meanie. I tell you, my daughter and my cousin sat there and they began to say all these things that wasn't true. I wasn't a preacher. I wasn't a celebrity. She get on the internet and she don't know Obama and all this other stuff. And I sat there and I didn't say a word. I said, okay. And the police officer was already being mean. He was absolutely terrible. So then he comes out and he grabs Jeremiah. And he started speaking with him, walks him back in the house. He comes over to Kiera. He started trying to talk to Kiera and say, don't you want to stay too, Kiera? But no, I'm going, my mama. He steps away. So Kiera and I walk away, and the Lord blessed. Opened up the door for us a motel. At that time, we had absolutely no money. It was almost 20, 30 below zero outside when everything got crazy. If you knew the environment in the house, the best thing was for him to do is take us all to a place. That's what the old police officers would do back in the days. You know, it wasn't a permanent stay. They told him that she don't have a place. She didn't just come from Atlanta, as if I was just a homeless person. And he sat there. And I told him that there was a good police officer. There was one Caucasian police officer, the one that was being mean, and there was one Mexican police officer. He was very quiet. He had absolutely nothing to say. He kept walking outside, though, but he had absolutely nothing to say. And I told him, I said, if you go read your report, the whole report is a lie. So as I began to ride, I said, you know, I thought it was very funny how my family is, I don't know, because I don't want any evil to come upon them either. Long story short, Kiera and I walked away. I never knew if Jeremiah wanted to go or stay. But in my spirit, I said, you know what, Lord? Because Angel said she didn't want to go in front of me, I couldn't pull her. My life is different than theirs. Tried forcing her, it got worse. And that was only because we were already going through. I really would like to tell you the environment. It was crazy, and someone told me even before that people are making your children up with men, you know, and taking them away, creating heartaches, and it's part of what the government does, and that my children was running scared. I couldn't force them. I kept trying to talk to my 22-year-old, especially, and my 25-year-old. Please let me know if you're being bullied. That's what I would tell them. Let me know if you're being bullied. They wouldn't say a word, and so I started seeing females in the house. And I kept saying, Lord, I don't know what's going on. But I got weak. I said, Lord, I wanted to do, at one time they told me they were FBIs. They told me the guys that I even had was FBIs, the ones that was in Georgia, that we had FBIs all around us, even my family, keeping folks from being with us. People were told not to be in our inner circle because we were queens, because we were a royal family. Yeah, so we couldn't have any friends. And so they would call, fight, go in the company. They didn't want us to work. So they would go into the companies and tell them that whatever, you know, just to keep us from working, because we was a royal family. We've been a royal family for 2 years with no money. Royal family 2 years, and they haven't put us up in a place to live, given us anything to drive. They've been doing everything negative, but we were a royal family. Taking driver license don't make you royal. You can give me a chauffeur. Yeah, taking a house. That's the government, baby. I don't know if these are FBIs that are with my girls. Something that Obama or government or whoever may have thrown out to them. But I asked the question a long time ago when I was just, and sometimes as a parent you sit in fear. So I walked away from my daughter because I didn't want to fight with her. Because I felt like it may have been true. I've been hearing these rumors for the longest, 6 months to a year, that they were throwing my children mates and forcing them to be with them. And I didn't know, was unaware, and that these girls now were coming into their lives. And I kept saying, Lord, are there friends? And, you know, like when the police officer, remember I told you how the police officer in Georgia stopped Angel, Jeremiah, and Kiera, and how my daughter's friend, who's a female, just walked out, happened to come up on them. And someone said that came from being FBI, but you asked, are they trying to help us or are they trying to hinder us? You know, if you're going to throw my daughters anything, throw them a male, don't throw them a female. Now, I know a lot of males have been thrown, but now I see them around females, and I'm just not happy with it. And it's not that I believe they're sexual with the females, but this last female that I saw looked just like a man, a boy. I thought it was a boy. My daughter was talking about boyfriends. She kept talking about her boyfriend coming down. She thought she was pregnant by the guy from Louisiana. In fact, when the girl was over there, but I kept saying, I just don't like this girl being around my daughter because she looks like a boy. And they would go in the room, and she would spend the night, but she would keep the lights on. So I guess that lets me know there was nothing going on. They were just friends. But they all act a little cuckoo at times. Amen. But nevertheless, with everything going on, and Angel and my daughter being in the room, my daughter cracking up, we couldn't use toilet paper, couldn't this and that, I felt like someone was making her do it. And so when it came down to being mean, I said, you know what? As a mother, I'm tired. Not that I'm tired and wanted to give them up, but I'm tired and I need a vacation. So if she wanted to keep them, then she could keep them, but I will be back for them. So I spoke with them today. I just know that just like Kiana, they play with their mind. Even family can play with your children's mind. And so as I rode the bus and I was talking to the Lord, I said, God, you know, the hurtful part is when you see your children and they reject you. And you've been slaving with them for years. Amen. And so nevertheless, as a parent, and you start enjoying being by yourself, you said, I just want to make sure they're okay. Your heart gets to a point to where they're grown, release them, and then the ones acting grown, release them. I mean, because after all these years, I think the greatest hurt is when they run back to their father who hadn't been there. And a lot of folks want to see you hurt. That's the main thing, because when my kid father told me he didn't have to pay child support, and here I put $15 on there, did you give it to the kids, and they're grown. And they're letting him do what he wanted to do because he's military with the child support. I said to myself, I'm not going to battle. You know, I'm going to let the Lord do it. I got to a point with the Lord, and he told me today, you still have the power. Just activate it. And then you ask yourself, well, do you want to really activate it right now? You know, you just want to sit down and relax and say, okay, you want a good affair, good relationship. You want to have some fun. You want to take your hair down. You want to go out and boogie-woogie. I met a friend, as I was telling y'all, when we left out of my daughter's home. The Lord blessed us to meet a friend, Caucasian lady. She just lost her husband. Had a lot of money, collectible coins. She put us up, and y'all come to the motel with me. Stayed in the motel room. We had an encounter with a cab. I wanted to fight him. Yeah, because he stole her earrings. She had brought her granddaughter some earrings that were $250, beautiful, pink. She gave me some earrings from Spain, gave Kira a necklace from Mexico. She had just come off a cruise with the money she had gotten. Showed me all the stuff. She rode around with expensive stuff in her bag, nothing but expensive stuff. And so she got stranded out at a place in the cab. We were sitting in the motel room waiting for her to come back, and the cab driver wouldn't let her out the car. She didn't have the money. And so she was stressed. Old woman, she was sick when she left out. And so she told him to hold the earrings as collateral. He took the earrings and wanted to go and pawn them. He didn't give her the earrings back. $250. Then he turned around and charged her $60 after he let the meter run up to $100 and something on a $30 trip. Highway robbery. Then the policeman came, and I got so upset because the police officer was Mexicano too. The guy who did it was Mexicano. I went to try to explain to the police officer because she wasn't going into details, and he just kind of turned his head and started talking while I was talking. I made a comment that made him so mad, girl, he rode around in circles trying to see if I walk out by myself, trying to give him something, you know, throw me behind bars for because he was being disrespectful. So since he was being disrespectful, I turned around and I told the Caucasian lady, I said, you're in Mexico, baby. Anytime you're in Texas, you're in Mexico. And anytime you're in Mexico, Mexicans going to be who they are. He knew better to mess with me because he knew I can play the name game. I shot him down in his character. He looked at me and he said, go inside. I said, I'm outside. Isn't it free? I pay money in this motel room. I can't stand outside. So I went in and I talked to the manager. I got my stuff. He wasn't even a minute later. I said, I can't go outside in this motel. He said, sure. I said, he's not letting her talk because he was a Caucasian manager of the motel. He was offended too because the police officer was telling him, well, ma'am, you gave him the earrings. Well, I said, well, she needs a report so she can get she had insurance on the earrings. He said, well, it's not stolen. She gave them to him. I said, under duress, sir, but he's a Mexican. That's what I kept saying. He's a Mexican. That's all they do is stick together and rob, and he's a police officer. And he got so angry at me, but it was true. She did everything under duress, and he was forcing her to pay and telling her she was going to jail, and she's old and she's sick. She's like 70-something years old, and the woman has money, and she's left it back at the motels.